Yes. Only 7 left. Well, actually, I'm not sure if these are also... Oh, this one is. So that's 8, actually. In that case... this one. I have returned. Needed to take a small pancake break. This is uncharted territory. Going to need to make 4 cuts radially on that part. Somehow. These parts appear to be 4 units tall. They need to be truncated to 2 units tall in order to attach correctly. And these are already prepared. In that case, I know exactly what needs to be done. First, truncate and linearize. Yes. Next, merely linearize these, just to keep track of them. Yes. And these things, I actually think I know how to do this efficiently. So, if I rotate it into what it needs to be, if I rotate it into the cutter, it will target a specific area. Oh yes, like that. And then after that it can be rotated back out of that. Not by there, by here. No, not there either. Another option, using that one stupid method we used with the painting level. I don't want to do that again. I think I know of a way to do this. First we bring it back out, then rotate it. Or wait, was I doing this correctly, firstly? Oh, never mind. The problem was my fault. Continuing. Going to need to be bristled like this. And we're going to need to perform 4 cuts. Wow, that is shockingly fast. So that's already prepared. We can immediately extract this one. There. And as for you, let's see what we can do about this. So, each one of these needs to attach to the top of one of these. But how is it going to be affixed? I think I know how. First, we're going to drop them haphazardly by 2 units. And from that point we can easily place these on top. Like that. And they need to be welded on. And then after that it's just timing. Welded from this angle. And ejected by the next one of those. That's a bad idea. Never mind. That would work if it was synchronized directly. I think I have an idea. So that arrives too slowly for for that to take advantage of it. I can fix that by adding one delayer right here. That's too long, so shorten that. Yes. Now it's ready. That unforeseen consequences. Never mind. I have a new idea now. And this one's even better than the last one. It's going to be like a stamp. Hold on. No, that's not good. This is correct. Mostly correct, I should say. They need air gap. What if I were to just delay all of these with a really long track? Yes, a very long track. And return to this point. That looks like it would work. Now, if it wasn't for that. This system is flawed. Probably the least functional part of this currently. In fact, this part is simple by comparison now. What if... A lot of ideas, but they're mostly bad ideas. So the first of these work fine. It's the other two that don't. What if the machine only actuates when both of them are ready? For instance... Oh, no, not like that. Yeah, like this. So it only allows a tube in when there's a head, and it only pushes the head in when there's a tube there. Well, that's a problem. Just do that then. There, that almost worked. Now the problem is that this thing is pushing back, which is bad. We need to move all of this ahead. Very carefully. Just to give that one part enough room. Yeah, it's not supposed to be there, it's supposed to be here. There. And now this is unsupported, so fix that. What's the hold up here? They're supposed to be extended now. Don't tell me there's some kind of a bug in the system Working this hard for this little? Yeah, it's a crime. Remove all of this. Need to find a better way. I have a feeling that this should work if I do it correctly. But knowing how these things have gone in the past. So this time, welded from this side, and lit up by this, but held back by this. And this only releases when these attach. Look how simple this one is. So that's all we needed. We don't even need that part, as I suspected we might. In that case, it looks like we're ready to begin work on the final product. Should this one be done? Oh, I know. Hold on. First I need to check this to see if this works. Nearly. Hold on. So the plan now is to bring these up to a level where we can drop them in. This routing looks correct. And what level do we want? We only want them one higher. So that's actually simple. And finally, that angle looks bad. One higher. Now let's see how this works. That's correct. And so now we need stations on all four of these corners, forming this pattern. And to distribute them, I'm going to need a special mechanism. This should be good enough. There. And then in all of these locations, this part can be simplified to this. Or not. It'll be better if we synchronized all of it to when it's ready to receive. And now finally we need these to inject the components when ready, to see if this functions correctly already so far. Yes. And going to probably need a small delay here. That looks like enough time. I feel like I'm missing something actually. The welding of these front and back ones. That could be a problem. Actually, what about a system much like this one we already used? We could figure that out later. This one is already almost complete. We should at least see how this one works first before trying anything else next. There. Now. It looks like it may have been too early. Yes. So in this case, I think this is enough delay. But it gets in the way. In that case, no, that's not correct. This could be a problem. May need to move all of this ahead by 3 tiles. Like that. And then extend both of these to their requisite locations. There. Now pause and take a look. Everything is where it should be. Yes. Give this space. Oh, I just had another thought. Technically, this has no way of escaping now. It's been told where it is, as this isn't high enough. And so now, I'm going to need to revise this again. Actually, no, that's too far down. This part. There. Easy. Almost too easy. Now let's see if anything broke. Oh yes, this part here broke. Fixing that. Pausing, examining. Need to weld this somehow now. This will actually be held in place moving forward by what it's sitting on. Reaching this point is going to be the hardest part, I think. Actually, what if instead of bringing it out that way, we bring it out this way, and then feed it back in later? Like this. And that way we can weld this together from this angle, and this from this angle. And these two are held in place because of the angle they're being moved at. So we can actually weld these at the end of this travel. Simple, watch this. Wait, and we need a way of ejecting this after it's done. And we can do that by having a delayer somewhere, I feel, in this line. That would need to be a pretty extreme delayer, though. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. And put this here. And just clear this out of the way to make room for the loose block that will be the heart of the machine. And we can adjust the delay by adjusting the length of this track. Yeah, that's much too fast. 4 more tracks should be enough time. Now, yes, this is correct. And then the layer resets, of course. And look at that, finished product. Except for this time. It was missing the final piece here. Must not be reloading fast enough. Let's watch this back to see why exactly that is. Yes, it's not being given enough time. What if we increase the input speed? That might help. That actually made it worse. What about decreasing? This appears to be a stable one. Not ideal, but good enough. Next. Yeah, what do we have here? Oh, I see. So, I'm going to be taking this and salvaging its parts to make that. There. So first let's examine exactly the block types we want. We need one of these things, one of these rotors, 9 hole pieces, 12 of these chambers, and I think that would be 18 of these barrels. These are already attached together, so we can just immediately detach those. Although those carry the rotors under them. May need to cannibalize one of them in order to get the rotor out of it. We can discard these thrusters, and the hull can come from down this part here. Yes, I see what needs to be done now. We can start by removing these side pieces because they're useless. And one of the 2 cannons, because we need what's under it. And then after that, we're also going to want to discard these 2 pieces. And that gives us the rotor, and if we put one here, get the bare cannon as well. Actually, that's a bad configuration for this. This should get us this cannon by itself and this rotor by itself, along with this hull by itself. And since we'll have a lot more rotors than cannons, and we only need one of them per 6 cannons, we can discard every rotor except for the 6th one of each batch. So we can actually bring these around to a processing plant somewhere else. Here. And these cannons I will make a stamp for. Oh wait, I have a better idea. These linear attachers are always my preferred method. First attaching them vertically, then horizontally. Like this. And that's much too close to the work. As in colliding with it. A finished product. And that can be moved to in front of the processing plant for the rotors, which will discard all but the 6th of each. A better way to say that would be all but every 6th. And so, I know how to do that. Hold on. So, set this to 6. And attach this here, which goes to here. And then the ones that aren't, oh wait, no, that's the ones that are, the ones that aren't go down there. So like that actually. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that is if it's attached. Yes, look at that. The 6th one was saved. That one can go this way to the attachment of this underneath. And it needs to go one before there. Yes. Actually, hold on. Oh wait, problem. There's no way to get a welder under there to attach it. That's a problem. In fact, that's the biggest problem so far. I have an idea. Save the horizontal attaching for later, and every 3rd one send to there to be attached. Yes. This is correct. And then a 6th out from there would be this one. So let's actually see how that works. Almost there. Actually, move that down a few levels to get better control over it. Now let's see. Now this system is actually backwards. What we really want is for this one to go this way. And for the other one to go ahead of that to the area where it will be attached to the one with the rotor. This will give space for welding it and increase the complexity of the assembly of the cannons themselves. Now would be a good time to start thinking about the hull. So the idea for this part, we can shorten this first. So objects that are 4 long can be carried through and the rest are discarded to make sure that we don't get any trash there. And then after that, I'm going to shorten these to 3. And those will be moved out. Yeah, that's premature. Actually, I think it would be a good idea to move these to a better area for processing. Oh, I have a better idea now. So watch this. That is correct. And also, I would like to, just to make these easier to work with, get rid of these 3 to get them to there. Now the plan is to attach them in this way to get them into the right shape finally. There. So this needs to go here, and this needs to go here for the welding. And the next one of those can push that out of the way. Oh, that's a problem. In that case, we're actually going to want to push it out of the way as soon as it builds. We're also going to want 2 more delays in this for reasons that will become apparent later. Yes, so that one gets ejected, then the next 2 of these get ejected. And these can be assorted to their correct positions. For instance... there would be one spot here. And then the next one would be... no, wait. This would be the first stop. And then the next one would be over here. And this should all be moved forward by 1. Wait a second. There. There. Now, let's see if this is the correct configuration. Approximately. Actually, why not move all of this to further out this way? to this point here, at which point it can be welded together like this. And then after that, everything can be sent out. To the next area. Oh, and of course, we're going to need this. Now this should work. And after this part, we have almost everything complete. We just need to affix these. Yes, this works now. Complete component. New problem. Just noticed we have the same thing happening on the bottom now. So, halt this. We can save that for later. This is going to be pretty bad. If we were to have a block temporarily attached to this one that we could weld with and then delete that block when we're done, that would technically be one way to do it. We could use one of these two blocks here. Or potentially one of these blocks that we typically discard. That sounds like a plan. So, in reality, we can now get rid of this. Put it back to the way it was before, because that was pretty efficient. And as for you, I think we can actually fix you as well. I don't want to do this haphazardously just in case we need to reset everything back to this way. But there's no other choice. It must be done. There. Now if this doesn't work, I'm going to be upset about it. Now about you. Reduce you to every third and perform this operation here to make the vestigial block. This needs to be adjusted because of the new object shape. And now this should actually work much more simply. Move this part back like this to make the room. I think it's coming in from the wrong angle. These welders are now on the wrong side. They should be here instead now. This can be gotten rid of since it's now redundant. And I feel like this should work. Oh, it missed. It's actually here it needs to be. There, now try. I'm sure this will work now. You better not have a small problem that's easily fixable that I didn't notice. That would warrant punishment. Yes, now look. I got around the problem of not being able to weld that easily by making it easier to weld, and then I can just remove that block later. Ingenious. And now this part should be even easier because of that. Actually, if I raise all of this up by one block, and that should make the next step trivial. There. Now, about you. This pre-processed block of steel. So, the shape we're going to need to weld is this. We're going to need something that touches both of these. One here and one here. Oh, I know. Hold on. This is simpler than it looks. So, this part will grip the barrels. Like that. And so now this, we don't even need this track anymore, except for support for this thing, which we can replace with that. We'll address this other problem later. That's too soon of a welding. I have an idea. Typically, I have the welder pushed in by one of these. In this instance, so that it only activates at a particular time. And then, in order to detect when that is, I can have this be here. And then after all of that is complete, it can be pushed out by the next one. This can be a pretty big delayer here, as you will see, which should keep it from overflowing like before. Now look, they stack, and then after the stack gets to a certain height, it no longer stacks anymore. It appears to be too much delay, because now it causes that problem. So the way to fix that is to reduce the stack height by 1 first to see if that's enough, and then if it's not, we can reduce it more. But that looks good. And that looks correct also now. Oh wait, I remember, these are asynchronous. So we have more platforms than cannons. New idea. Oh yes. Here we have it. Or wait. somewhere in here we need to send one platform through for each one of these barrels that is complete, and destroy the rest of the platforms by sending them down there. I have an idea. This will detect what needs to be detected. Have this be closer to the working area. Oh wait, no, like this, of course. And then when that detects an overflow, it will destroy it. And when it's ready for one, it will deploy it. You know, like this. Yeah, we'll see how this works. So, we always have some ready, and it destroys the overflow. Like that. And there, whenever it needs one, it sends one. The perfect synchronization system. And now the finished product is sent this way. You know what we can do with it now. Once it is in this position, first, what I would like to do is destroy this vestigial part, because it's only there for the weldings, and then after that send it directly to the output. Now this should be complete. Yeah, it's about time we get to build machines this complex. Complexity makes for fun. Well, typically, or it can make for frustration. There, you see that? This part is working exactly as I intended. There. Now just to wait for this slow machine to finish doing its work. I noticed an anomaly. Whenever a new one of these goes in, half of the time, it seems like the deploying of a requisite one coincides frequently with the destruction of one, and also the sending in of one. Yeah, probably just an anomaly. There. Very inadequate solution, but very fun. Inching ever closer to the goal, the end goal. And back to the plant. What do we have here? What is this? This monstrosity. What parts do we have to work with? So, what I see we need to do is paint each opposing side one of the two colors in alternation. This is like that paint level, but worse, because we need to do it on a lot of different sides. So first what we can do is get rid of these parts, because we're not going to be using them. And then after that, directly after that, they can be refined further by destroying more of the parts that we're not using. in like this, and then send it out like that. That gets it close to what it needs to be. And now we can plan some kind of mechanism for the painting. And these parts come in far too fast for this. Actually, I had a thought. What if... Oh yes, this could be a great idea. It could cut out a lot of the complexity. What if instead of doing this... Oh, this is going to be the greatest and worst thing ever. Oh wait, do lasers work this way? Yes, they do. That's good. That's going to make this much easier. And also put this here to make sure everything functions as intended. That's a potential problem. Hold on. Oh, I see what the problem is right here. There. So now we have these two parts. We forward this one, and the other one we send a different way. Like that. In fact, we only need to bring this out to here. There. And so, with this smaller plate here, guess what we can do? We can very quickly and easily just pass it straight through here, and then once it's on the other side, we can pass it the other way. And then once it's done with all of that, it can be passed this way to the other one, the red one, to be done in the opposite way. Hold on. Alignment is a factor. And so support beams. Oh wait, now I remember why I spaced that. I just needed this to be here. There, now watch. On this axis only, or this plane I should say, it paints these stripes. And now it can do the same thing this way. And then two of those can be stacked vertically to simplify things. And the welder can go right here for no particular reason. Now watch how this works. We don't even need to handle that big awkward object. Oh wait. Welders need to be spaced back here so that they don't interfere like that. Yes, and it's all painted correctly as well. So now look, the bottom is finished. And these parts, this top part here, we can just very easily shape into what we want. And mold it like clay. And then that can also be forwarded to where it needs to go. Actually, a better idea, instead of sending it that way, sending it this way, where it can be affixed to this thing. Actually, that's not good. Bring it up to here. a small delay to make sure everything functions correctly. And this ejector here that activates when everything is finished, whenever that would be. Actually, a better idea, these should always come in first and be stopped from overflowing. So that now this will be the activator for when it should eject and be sent forward to this area where it should be affixed to the top of the rest of the assembly. Well, that's a problem. Which I technically know how to fix. Or not. It's going to be slightly more complicated. So instead the welders need to go on this side. And this is where this needs to be now, because it needs to be pushed in. Oh wait, I remember how to do this now. We already made a part like this before, remember? There, this should work perfectly. Look at that. The pinnacle of perfect design. And now finally, I'd actually like to have this be on the other side first. And this to be here for when it gets pushed back out of the way, so that we can assemble everything right here in this spot. Right here. Welding error yet again. Yeah, but guess what? We already discussed how we could fix something like that. Minor error, nothing to be alarmed of, per se. Just need to get rid of some of these parts, and only some. There, now watch how this part works. There, now we have a welding anchor that we can get rid of later. Exactly as planned. The only problem is which side it's on, which, guess how we can fix that? That's right, rotation. And now this part can so easily just be right here. Now the only thing we're worried about is synchronizing that with this. And then the output of this can be like this. Going directly to the end. With the vestigial part destroyer right here. Perfect. Planning everything ahead. Now, how about this? I think this should actually go this way. There. And to manage potential overflows. It should work for the first 10 parts, at least. There. And then that can be clamped on whenever it needs to be. which will be handled by other logic somewhere else. It should have a pretty advanced warning, so right here. And it can just be routed like this for no particular reason. There. Taking into account the time it has to fall, that's why. Oh, that's too much advanced wording. And try slightly less. One more less. More or less. Oh wait, no, never mind. I thought I realized something, but I actually didn't. And this is now incorrect, actually. But I think this won't be. Let's actually see if that's true. I think I remember the timing being perfect. Yes, just like that. And then finally that can extend that way. The rest of the way. And this can handle 2 delays right here. Which should give it, actually that's 4 delays, which is too much. That should give it just enough time to be perfectly synchronized in at least the first clock. Like that. And as I anticipated, this is building up slightly, which will probably break it before it's even done operating. Yeah, like that. Now it's incorrect. However, the funny thing is it will finish its job before it breaks. Like that. So actually, it's only technically broken. Yes. One of the cases when something can only be halfway, or has the ability to only be halfway broken. This thing, the tube. Tube isn't that bad. I can think of a lot of ways to do tube. But I can think about those ways later because it's already been an hour. Good night.